lockdown is over and we have entered into unlock one, and during this lockdown period, definitely the bankers, the bank employees, they have proved their might, and they have shown to the country that why and how they are indispensable for the country's growth and the prosperity and for the well-being and the welfare of the countrymen. During this period when all the people, they were very much scared of coming out of their home, these bankers, one and all, they have shown their might and they have given their human service for the well-being of the countrymen. But at the initial stage of this unlock one, definitely some of the news, whatever it is coming in the social media, it has created a major disappointment to the country's bankers as well as to the countrymen also, because the countrymen, they have seen how much indispensable these bankers are and how much devoted these bankers are. Therefore, it is definitely a setback. And few days back from AIBOC, we have expressed our outright opposition and strong anguish over the decision of the privatization of PSU by the central government. And you know that few days back in her deliberation, our finance minister, she told that there will be maximum 1 to 4 public sector companies in the strategic sectors, and in other sectors, I mean these non-strategic sectors, it will eventually be privatized. Means almost 240 to 250 operating these PSU concerns have been targeted for the privatization in the future days. Friends from the IBOC, from not only as on today, since 1991, when the reform was started and the privatization, globalization and the liberalization process was started, that time also we have raised our voice, and during this period, entire period, whenever there was some sort of attempt made by the government, we have raised our voice, because we know that the privatization of the banking sector, it is not the solution for a country like India. And we are talking about at present, during this COVID period, we are talking about this Atmanirbhar Bharat, this self-reliant Bharat. Definitely, India needs to be self-reliant at this point of time. And if the country needs to be self-reliant, Atmanirbhar, then the government of this country should be self-reliant. How the government can be self-reliant? It can be made possible only if the government has a control on its money, on its economy, and the strategic sector, the principal sectors, which is the backbone of the country, means this financial sector, this health sector, and all other sectors, this defense sector. And if you don't have any control on the strategic sectors, then you cannot expect the proper growth and the prosperity of the country when the country is in need. Because during this period, this COVID period also, government has learned lesson. Government should have learned lesson. Because during this period, we all have seen how the government hospitals, they have rendered their services for the countrymen. How these government banks, they have rendered their services. How the police, the government-controlled police authority, how they have rendered their services. All the government sectors, NDRF, how they have given their services. And, we all have seen in the social media, the news, it was hovering around everywhere, that Air India, how they continue to provide the human service in ferrying the standard citizen from foreign countries to our country. Air India, not only this time, when there was a flood in Kerala, when there was a flood in Chennai and elsewhere, when there was an earthquake everywhere, the Air India, they have given their human service for the well-being of the countrymen. And definitely, India can prosper with the strengthening of this PSU sector, and more particularly whenever we are talking about the banking sector, then definitely the banking sector, the PSU banking sector, it is to be strengthened if we really need the India to be self-reliant. And definitely, AIBC, whenever we are outright giving our opposition and the strong anguish on this, I mean to say, this privatization motive of the government. At the same time, we have opposed the motive of some of the state governments for abolition of the labor laws. Due to this abolition or the change of the labor laws, the trade union acts, they are going to change. They are trying to enhance the working hours of the laborers from 8 to 12 hours. And by dint of changing these labor laws, they are trying to snatch away many of the constitutional rights, fundamental rights of the laborers. Laborers, they are the production engine of the country. Therefore, the suppression, oppression and exploitation of the backbone of the country, the production engine of the country, cannot make the country self-reliant, and you cannot expect the growth and the prosperity of the country by doing this. Therefore, as a responsible trade union, we have opposed it. And during this period, lot many government has declared lot many projects, lot many various whenever there was some sort of this, this natural calamities or something like that, government has declared lot many things, lot many proposals for financing or to extend the finance to the common people through this bank. And definitely, lot many projects it has been declared. But we the bankers, we do not hesitate to give loan. Because throughout the year, we are giving the loans to the needy people. And we are at the call of the nation. Therefore, there is no hesitation on our part. But we have given suggestion. And we want to give the suggestion that this, okay, you are giving loans through these banks to the migratory workers, to the MSME sector, to the small businessmen, to the farmers. Okay, fine. But at the same time, you have to increase the purchasing power of the common people. The demand in the market, it is to be increased because the market has no demand. And if we keep on financing the common the MSME sector or any sector, this demand deficient economy, and if we keep on giving these loans in this demand deficient economy, I mean to say the economy or the market where there is no demand, who will purchase the products? And the small entrepreneurs, they will start their business. The producers, they will produce. But who will purchase? Until and unless we have to increase the purchasing power of the customers, purchasing power of the common people, there may be the chance of the severe deterioration of the assets of the banks. I mean to say, means this credit may go again bad and it may be declared as an NPA, and it will add some more value to the NPA, huge piling up of the NPA portfolio. The public sector undertakings, they are having huge NPA. What is the reason? One of the reasons is the lending spree of the public sector undertaking banks. Lending spree at the time, in the year of 2007 and 8, when the entire world was suffering due to the financial, depression or the global recession of 2008 and 2009. During this global recession of 2008 and 2009, in our country also, the private players, they were sitting idle on their money, settle idle on their funds. They were not in a mood to spend money, as because they were knowing very well that their money may not come. But we as a PSU bankers, we are also knowing that if we lend in infrastructure, then definitely our finance may go bad. But it was a call of the nation. Therefore, we have financed huge finance in the year 2008 to 2012 in the infrastructure sector. And the result has come. The country has been developed. Lot many roads have been developed. Lot many new projects have been developed. Until and unless it is a national call, it was a national call, and until and unless the government would have a control on this PSU banks, it was not possible for the government to channelize the fund to this sector for the growth and the prosperity of the country. As because the banks, these PSU banks, it was under the control of the government, therefore it was made possible, knowing fully well that our money may become bad. And the result is that today the bank is having huge NPA. Now we are being blamed as an inefficient banker as if we couldn't handle the credit or credit portfolio. It is not like that. So friends, these are the things government should think about that. Common people should think about that. What is the need of the hour and what is the need and requirement of the country? Means the country needs the strengthening of the PSU sector more and more. And therefore, we want that the good sense will prevail. Because for the last 2-3 days, another news, it was floating in the social media that very recently the government have begun discussion on privatization of some of 2-3 banks. And our BBB, they have given their approval by the idea mooted by the Niti Aiboc. We know it is a false news. And we hope that definitely it will be a false news. But at the same time, we are very much scared of, because before the merger process, it was started and it was initiated by the government. Lot many permutation combinations, news, it was coming throughout the year. For the whole year, lot many means permutation combinations, lot many things, it was coming into the news media, electronic media and the print media, that this bank is going to be the acquirer bank, this bank is going to be the anchorer bank, and this bank is going to be acquired by someone bank, and this bank will be leading someone or 3-4 banks, something like that. Because this is also a technique, means people may be given some sort of understanding, or people may be given some sort of ideas, because people are to make accustomed with the situation, people are to make habituated with those ideas, so that ultimately when the thing will come and that it will happen in reality, then there will be no such lot many hue and cry. Therefore, we hope that good sense will prevail and it will be a totally fake news, because it is not a good idea. And at this point of time, when our economy is not growing, not because of this COVID, before that also our economy was not going properly. That time also, lot many private players, they were sitting idle on their money, on their funds, on their capitals. That time, only this public sector undertakings, the only pillar of the GDP, it was working. Therefore, it is our request to the common people to understand the need of the country. What is the need of the country? And during this COVID period also, we have seen that everything is going on. The merger process, it was made through, and the labor law, the process was initiated to change the labor law. IBC Act, it was changed, and this privatization process, it is going on. And the coal, the country India, it is having the highest coal reserves, and that coal reserves, the highest coal reserves, our coal sector, it is now being freed up to the private players, and the space, atomic energy, defense, all are being opened to the private players. What is going on? And we do not hope and we do not expect that the decision of handing over all PSU to private players is a prelude of making the India self-reliant. आत्मनिर्भर भारत होने का रास्ता ये नहीं है. तो definitely we want a self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar India, with more and more public sector undertaking and more and more strong public sector undertaking. There should be the strong governance in the public sector undertakings. In the public sector banks also, there should be the strong governance, and there should be the stringent law for the defaulters of the loans, so that the bank's health can be improved, and ultimately this bank, this PSU bank, they can contribute more and more for the growth and the prosperity of the country. I hope, and we from the All India Bank Officers Confederation, we hope that good sense will prevail, and definitely India will